Hello and welcome to West Michigan Works Career Exploration. My name is Jill and I will be your guide for today. I'm so excited that you're here and really look forward to spending time with you today. Now you're probably wondering, what exactly is career exploration? That's a great question. Today we are going to explore a tool that will help you discover some career options that align with your specific interest. Are you ready? Let's get started. So you're probably wondering, what are we going to do today? Well, first, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to complete the Ownit Next Move Interest Profiler. From there, I'll show you how the assessment provides you job options that align with your specific interests. Then, I'm going to demonstrate how to research details about a job that you're interested in. And then lastly, I will provide you information to share with your career coach to help develop a career pathway that's specific just for you. To begin, we want to get you to your interest profile assessment. In order to do that, we have a few steps. Are you ready? The first step is to enter the address you see on the screen into your computer web browser. From there, you will get to the home page for the Ownit Online. If you look to the right, there's a section that says I want to be. It's a purple box, and towards the bottom there is a Find It Now button. We want you to click on that Find It Now button. This will be the next screen that you see. What we need you to do is click on the Start button in the section that says, Tell us what you would like to do. Okay, you're almost there. The Ownit Interest Profiler Assessment helps you discover what your interests are and how they relate to the world of work. In addition, it helps you decide what kinds of careers you might be interested in. So many job seekers have found this process to be interesting and beneficial. I hope you do too. Select the Next button and we're on to the next screen. The assessment has 60 questions about work activities that some people do on their jobs. Read each question carefully and decide how you feel about doing each type of work. Although the Unsure button is a feature, today I'm going to ask you not to select it. Using the Unsure button will create results that are vague and not useful in your discovery. We want you to have a clear picture of your interests. Sound good? Now select the Next button and we'll continue. Now, as you're going through the assessment, try not to think about, do I have enough education or training for this job? Or, I wonder how much money I would make. Just try to think about, would I like it or dislike it? Now select the Next button to continue. Now I know sometimes people get nervous when taking a test. Well, the great thing here is, this is not a test. There's no right or wrong answers, and I assure you, you will know each answer because this is all about you and your interests. So please, take your time. There's no rush. On the next screen, they're going to want you to answer each question in order, but you can feel free to change your answer at any time. You may also use the back arrow button to return to the previous slide if needed. Now, here's to finding more about you and your interest. Click on the Next button. So this is what the assessment tool looks like. What we need you to do is click the Face button that reflects how you feel about each line. Remember, please don't select Unsure. When you're done with the first 12 questions, simply click the Next button. Just to give you a heads up, there's 5 screens in total. All right, great job. When you see this screen, that means your assessment is complete. If you'd like to review your answers, you can do so by simply clicking on the Return to the First Page. Otherwise, click the next button to move forward. This is what your interest profile results page will look like, except yours will have different numbers. These reflect my assessment results. Your interest can help you find careers that you might like to explore. The more a career meets your interest, the more likely it'll be satisfying and rewarding to you. And that's what we want for you here at West Michigan Works. When you get to this page, please jot down the numbers and categories on the left-hand side for your career coach. Or if you have access to a printer, you can simply print this page. Now, let's talk about what these numbers mean. Click the next button. Now, this diagram shows each category along with a brief description. For instance, investigate. You guys are the thinkers. Artistic, they're the creators. Social, they're the helpers. Enterprising, they're the persuaders. Conventional, they keep us all organized. And realistic, they're the doers. Now, most people have had a job that they really haven't liked. Has that been you? I can honestly say I've had a job before that I didn't care for. And it's probably because we didn't match who we are and our values and interest with the particular position. So, do you think that there are advantages to employers if we like what we do? You bet. Often there's better attendance, better production, and an attitude that is spot on, just to name a few. Now, let's take a closer look at the interest categories and what they mean. This screen allows us to take a deeper look into each of the 6 categories. You can read each one to familiarize yourself with the differences within the categories. Now, most of us usually have a bit of each one of the categories, but typically score higher in 1 or 2 areas. Now, these are my particular test results. Although I've scored pretty low in the realistic category, do you wonder what that means? Let's take a closer look by clicking on the realistic button. As you can see, there's a description of what the realistic category means. People with realistic interests, they like to work on practical things and be more hands-on. Often people with realistic interests don't like careers that involve paperwork or working closely with people. You can probably see why I scored so low in this area. I love working with people. Now, when we select the Close button, we'll get back to our results. During this guide, we are only going to look at the realistic category. But when you do your assessment, you can click on each category and find out all about the characteristics. This is often a fun and interesting part for job seekers. They'll say things like, wow, this assessment has me spot on. Or sometimes they learn something new about themselves. Either way, it's helpful in our self-discovery process. To continue with the results, select the Next button. So as we focus on our job search and hone in on things that align with our interest, we really need to ask ourselves the following question. How much education, training, and experience does this job need? Ownit has created a system where there are 5 job zones. These 5 job zones really basically describe the level of education, experience, and training that you need. So let's take a peek at those 5 job zones now by clicking Next. Now here are 5 job zones. Job Zone 1, you can see, requires a high school diploma or GED, and little or no additional preparation is needed. But in Job Zone 2, you'll need a certification or a vocational training program. so some additional preparation is required. So you can see the varying requirements within each job zone. As we move forward, we will look at a job within one of these particular job zones. The interest profiler is going to have you either look at a current job zone or a future job zone. In both cases, your job zone will include careers that you might like that are based on your interest. Don't worry about making the wrong choice now. You can always explore different job zones later. For this example, we're going to select Next to continue. So, when you do your assessment, feel free to examine all 5 of the job zones. It's actually quite exciting to see what's available. For this particular example, we're going to select little or no job preparation. That would be job zone 1. So I'm going to click on that. So as you can see, when I selected job zone 1, this screen came up and gave me some more detailed information. You'll notice it talks about experience, education, training, and even some examples of careers that may be interesting to me. Now again, this is a broad overview, so we're going to dig a little bit deeper later. But for now, I'm going to hit the close button and go back to our job zone main page. So we're back to the job zone main page, and now we're ready to select a specific job zone and find out more details about my related test results. So I'm going to simply click on the Next button to continue. Now for this example, I'm going to select job zone 3. All I have to do is click on the little button next to job zone 3 and then hit Next. Now this screen is just confirming that I selected job zone 3. I want to hit the Next button because that's when I'll be able to see all those jobs. This is the fun part. All right, here we go. Like I promised you, this is going to be the fun part. We get to see some different job options. Now, remember what you're seeing on the screen is specific to my assessment. Your jobs are going to look different. A couple things I wanted to point out. You can see the yellow arrow pointing to a great fit and best fit. When you see those along the left side, that's a good sign saying these jobs really align well with your particular interest. Another thing to note is that on some of them are a little yellow sunshine. That sunshine represents a great outlook or a bright outlook when it comes to the growth in that industry. Now, one additional thing, on the right-hand side, you can scroll down to find other jobs. For this example, I'm going to select on Self-Enrichment Education Teachers and find out more information. Now, when I selected on the Self-Enrichment Education Teacher, the tab opens up into a new web page on my internet browser. And this is what the top portion of the page looks like. There's a lot of information here to review, like, would you like this position? What would I do? What knowledge, skills, and abilities do I need? This is actually a really fun page to read. As you're reading your specific results, consider if that would be a role that you would enjoy. My assessment has me spot on. I love being a teacher. I love people. And again, it thrills me for me to be here with you today. Now let's take a look at the bottom half of what this page says. The bottom section includes information about pay, education, technology, possible job openings, and personality style. There is really so much to look here. It's actually so fun to go through and look at all of this information. Now, I have to tell you something. Most job seekers that I work with, they love this page because it talks about how much money can I make or show me the money. Now, you might not be like them, but it is great to be able to have that information available. They'll give you salary information for the local area that you live in, Michigan, as well as national averages. Now, I want you to quick look up to the top on that right-hand corner. You can see a few little fires. Those fires indicate hot technology. If you happen to have those skills, then give yourself a high five. Those are in-demand skills. Now, before we leave this page, I want to give you a heads up. Your career coach is going to ask you about some of the specifics on this page. I'm going to show you later what information you'll need from here. But for now, we're going to go back to our Ownit assessment. To do that, we'll either click out of the web browser page, or if you want, you can leave it to research later. But again, let's go back to the assessment. Now that I'm back at the Ownit Interest Profiler section, I could do one of two things. I could either scroll down and look through some other jobs, or I could select that Find More Careers button. For this example, I'm going to select that button. On this screen, you'll be able to find more careers in a single interest area. Now, when you see your assessment results, feel free to go through each one of the 6 categories. But in this example, you can see I scored pretty high in the social area. So I'm going to select social and see what other job options are available. So there we have it, a few more job options. Now, I could scroll down and see the full list of all of the job options available to me. One thing I do want to point out is, in the previous slide that showed job opportunities, do you remember there was 2 puzzle pieces, a great fit and a good fit? Notice when I select social as the primary category, I don't have any of those puzzle pieces showing up next to my jobs. Now, that doesn't mean it won't be a good fit, but just know that the others may be a better fit. One other thing I want to point out is, do you see the sunshines? Remember, those mean a bright outlook regarding growth in that industry. So when you see your assessment results, again, feel free, scroll down and see the job options. Clicking on the job will give you more information. When you're all done, you simply press the back arrow. After hitting that back arrow, we end up at the Ownit Interest Profiler. I wanted you to look at the toolbar at the bottom. Notice that there are results, job zone, careers. You can toggle back and forth between any of those and find out more information as well as additional jobs. Again, explore the different job zones. Remember, there are 5 different job zones and the additional careers that are available within those job zones. Now, we're almost finished. I wanted to show you one more thing if you decide you want to dig a little deeper. So here's one more resource for you. Let's say that after your assessment and all your exploring, you came up with 2 or 3 jobs you're really interested in. I would suggest to go back to ownitonline.org and use their search feature. Plug in one of those job titles. You'll find out that there's even more information available about the job. There's tasks, daily responsibilities. It's actually, again, another great tool. So, one last thing I wanted to discuss with you before we end our time together. This has to do with the information that your career coach would like to share with you. So again, if you're working with a career coach here at West Michigan Works, Please gather the information on the next 2 slides and bring it to your next meeting. Now, you're only required to complete this information on your favorite position. You can research more, and we suggest you do, but again, you only need to collect it on one position. Now, onto that information. Now, the next 2 slides are pretty straightforward, and yet I still want to walk you through them. Afterwards, I'm going to show you an example of what it looks like. All right? So first, tell us what the job title is. And then we want you to research and look for 3 different tasks that you could possibly do for that position. Then, in the area of knowledge, skills, and abilities, we'd like you to select one. So when it comes to, let's say, a skill, write the skill down. And then let us know, do you have that skill or do you need that skill? And then do the same for the knowledge and ability section. Sound good? All right, let's go on to the next slide. The other information that we would like you to look at is the educational component. So what type of education, degree, certification is needed for the job you're interested in? Maybe there's none. Now, remember those 5 job zones. That's a clue to where to find that information. Next, we want you to list 3 different work styles that are specific to that particular role. And then lastly, we'd like to know about the wage and employment growth. Now, the wage range could be in an annual salary or in an hourly rate, but we'd like you to include that as well. And then the projected growth. Remember when I pointed out the sunshine throughout our guide? So it'll tell you what is the projected growth for that particular role. So, does it sound confusing? I hope not, but let me show you an example just in case. So for this example, I am doing the job title Self-Enrichment Education Teacher. Remember during our guide, we selected that particular role and I found out more information about it. Remember how that feature took us into a new tab on our web browser and brought up a bunch of information? That's where I gather all of the information I need from my career coach. So again, I went through and I looked at 3 different tasks that I could possibly do for this position, and I wrote those down. Then I looked for the knowledge, skills, and abilities portion, and I listed 3 unique features. So let's just take, for instance, knowledge. One of the knowledge components was teaching and course design. I've been a teacher for many years and have that knowledge base. So I said, I have done that. I have that particular skill, that particular knowledge. And then I went on for the abilities and skills and completed that as well. I hope this is making sense. Let's take a look at the next slide. The educational attainment or requirements for this particular role indicated master's degree or additional certification after high school. So I wrote that down. The next was the top 3 work styles. From the research, it indicated lectures, discussions, and demonstrations. So I wrote those down. Then that last area of wages and employment growth. The wages I looked up indicated $9.38 to $44.38 an hour. Now, that's a really pretty big range. Typically, we don't see it that large, but again, I bet you I could do some more research and look at industry-specific teaching positions and hone in on a little bit better of a projected rate. Lastly, when it came to growth rate, I was real happy to see a little sunshine on this particular job because it has a bright outlook. So I indicated that as well. So I hope this helped with filling out the forms. Thank Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about the Ownit Interest Profiler and how it can help you explore jobs that align with your interest. I've enjoyed sharing and guiding you through this process. Here at West Michigan Works, we want you to find a career that you enjoy and can have success in. So, well wishes to you as you continue on in your journey. And remember, we're here to support you each step of the way.